Yeah.
Okay. So my first question for you is, how would you describe Brainly? What is Brainly in a nutshell?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, Brainy is the world's largest online community of students, parents, and teachers, because that's really what we do. We create a product, but really it's just a group of people, and it's a huge one because we have 150 million monthly users. And these are mostly students, parents, and teachers. This is the place where they can exchange knowledge and get help with their academic problems. So you can imagine the situation when the students are at home, they're working by themselves or with their parents on homework, preparing for tests, anything connected to school education. And every student has this moment when they get stuck and they just don't know how to continue. And Brain is there to help them get unstuck. So basically go from having a question, questioning something, to understanding and being able to move on their path.
Okay, so Brainy is a community.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, how would you describe your journey so far? Because I know that you started in 2009 and it was earlier called as Zadane.pl, and now you are representing Poland on the world stage when it comes to startups. So how has the journey been?
Well, it's been a long journey. We are now already 10 years old. We started in Poland in Krakow, so we're still very much connected to this place. Krakow is also where our biggest office is located in, but right now Brainy grew so much. We are over 130 people representing 15 different nationalities and offices around the world. But in the beginning, the way that Michał Borkowski, our CEO and one of the co-founders, always describes the very first moments of Brainly is that they wanted to create a product that they would love to have as students when they were in school, you know? So the idea was that students and people in general have this natural tendency of just helping each other out. So when you have a problem with, let's say, math, at school, I can help you with math, but then you can help me with some other subject that you're good at. So, so that was the initial kind of inspiration, and they just wanted to bring it online because it's faster. You don't only limit yourself to the group of friends that you have around you at this moment. You can ask it, and anybody can help you with this. And finally, every interaction like this is saved and is then it can be accessed by other people in the community. So if I help you, then another person can come in and use that knowledge exchange. So in the beginning, that was a bootstrapped kind of side project, but in less than a year, Brainly already had 1 million users in Poland every month. So that was a clear signal that obviously this idea is a good one and is working out. So I believe after about a year, the guys decided to test it outside of Poland, and the first foreign market was Russia, which saw again a very similar growth. And from there, it was clear that this idea is working out, not only in Poland, but actually in other countries. So we really focused on going global, entering new markets, improving the product as well. And then we moved through all of our milestones on the way.
So the journey has been incredible, you would say?
I think
you have to use an adjective to describe
I think the journey has been incredible, but I think, you know, there are over 1 billion students in the world. So with our current numbers, we're still only about 10% there. So I think the journey is going to be even more incredible as we go. It's becoming definitely more challenging and exciting. So yeah, it's been incredible, but I think it's only just kind of beginning.
Oh, it's just begun. All right. Could you please tell us what's your biggest market by users?
So right now, the biggest communities that we have are in Russia, Indonesia, India, United States, Brazil, Latin America, Turkey, Poland, and I think these are like the main ones.
Okay, and how many users do you have in Poland?
So right now in Poland it's about 7 million users monthly, which basically means that between 80 to 90% of all students use Brainly. Yeah.
They use Brainly.
Yeah. Like we do a lot of meetings, study groups, and research with students and parents in Poland. And usually when we ask, like if you go to any school and you ask who uses Brainly, most of the kids would raise their hands. And what we're seeing now is that in the beginning was only students or mostly students. Right now we see more and more parents and teachers using it, but specifically parents. Because you have this situation where kids come home and they ask their parents for help in studying, and very often parents have no idea how to help them because they don't remember something or it's being taught differently right now. So they become our users as well.
Okay, so not only students, but because of the parents, you would say that you...
Yeah, I think all these three groups use Brainly in different ways. Like for students is very obvious. They basically have questions about their homework or their any studying. For parents, it's about supporting their students. Obviously, they're not looking for that knowledge for themselves, but it's for their kids.
Right.
And for teachers, it's a little bit different because teachers either act as experts, so they just provide the knowledge and they provide help for our students, or sometimes, like we also have some teachers who just go on Brainly to see what's going on and like see what types of questions students are asking, what are the areas they have problems with, so they just kind of use it as a research kind of platform for them.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I didn't expect that the parents would be using Brainly because I always thought that it would be for the students.
Well, it is built for the students, but eventually,
but it's interesting, yes.
Like all parents want to be as supportive as possible, especially, we see it, especially in Asian countries, parents are so involved in the education of students. Like, not even parents, like the whole family is really, they really invest a lot of time and effort to support the kids and get us as, good education as possible. And then from the other side, from the parents' perspective, you want to be supportive, you want to give all the necessary resources to the kids, but at the same time, you come home after work, you're tired, you're defocused, and you have to sit again for 2 or 3 hours helping your kid with homework. That's challenging and difficult. So they also.
What are your future plans for the growth of the organization in the wake of your recent funding? And when I say growth of the organization, I would also like to know what specific plans you have for Krakow.
So, that's a good question. The growth of our structure and team is dictated by, of course, our goals in terms of the growth as a company. So there are 3 areas on which we want to focus right now. The first one is monetization, so improving our monetization features and building it even more. We're already monetizing in Poland and in the US. The second area is just working on our product, the UX, the experience of students and parents coming to Brainly. And this requires a lot of people, especially the product team, which is located here in Krakow. And finally, we will be focusing even more on the US market. So I think when it comes to like teams and how they will grow, this will happen both in Krakow and New York. This will be different roles, of course, but basically like both offices will be affected by our goals and strategy for.
So these will be your 2 key markets to expand, you would say?
Well, the US is definitely our priority market. We're always focusing a lot on India because it's really growing fast. And Krakow is always important to us, and Poland is always important to us because this is where we are physically. Like this is where our team is. This is where our people are, and this is also where we hire, especially for the product team.
Okay. So how many employees work for Brainly's office in Krakow?
I think it's about 100 people right now.
You have 100 employees.
More
and
or
they come
less.
from different nationalities, you would say?
Yes. So overall, we did check that a few months ago. So it may not be exactly precise because we've hired new people, but we have about 15 different nationalities working, 15.
Yes.
in Brainly in general. In Krakow, I would say it's close to that. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but like we also tend to move around a lot. So like I was telling you earlier, you would some of the weeks you would see, like even this week if you came on Wednesday or even yesterday, you would see people from New York walking around here, and then next week we'll have people from Krakow traveling to New York. So it's very diverse, it's very global, and also we are connected between the teams and we have even single teams where you would have a part of the team working in Krakow and part of the team working in the US.
Oh, okay, I see. So they're quite closely connected, you would say, though.
Yes, because it's
together.
project.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So my next question related to this is, what kind of talent is Brainly looking forward to recruit in Krakow? So what are you looking for?
Oh my God, that's a difficult question because we have many different roles. It's for sure people who work in product engineers, talents connected to programming, but also content specialists. So there's really a variety of different roles. So like if you look at the list of our openings, it's a long list. So
okay,
I'm pretty sure that everybody can find something that's more or less the area, as long as it's connected to education, startups, tech, and our sweet spot. Then it's there's usually something open.
Okay. So far, what have been, according to you, some of the big achievements of Brainly? Some of them, because I know there are many.
The big achievements, I think, our growth is really the biggest achievement, because when you think about it, there aren't too many companies that are this big when it comes to number of users and consumers. And also there aren't too many examples of companies from Poland or Krakow, or even this part of Europe, that are B2C, that they work directly with consumers, that have been so successful in growing. We have a lot of B2B companies that are very successful from here, but not so much B2C, so that's exciting for sure. We're not the only one, of course. There are many other, but there aren't too many. So I think that's an interesting thing. When you think about it, we really have about 10% of all the target we're looking at from the whole world, which is pretty amazing. I think it's also quite exciting for us here in Krakow that we're a company that's so deeply rooted here, but at the same time we are so international and global with our offices around the world. It's really great to see the Brainly brand being present in New York and Barcelona and other countries. And also, like, if you even know that from our example, if you talk to kids in India, they know Brainly. If you talk to kids in Indonesia, they know Brainly.
Yes, my cousin uses it.
Exactly. So I think that's one of the most exciting things that we can consider a success for a company from Krakow.
Okay, so no success is unaccompanied by challenges. So challenges always accompany success. So what have been some of the big challenges that Brainly has encountered?
Well, really, we always set our goals very ambitiously. So we face challenges all the time, and the challenge, challenging ourselves is a part of our daily routine, I would say. So I think we would have to be more specific, because like for the whole company it's difficult to really.
Okay, but let's say for Krakow, what has been the biggest challenge for operating Brainly in Krakow?
So there have been a few. I know it's been a big challenge for the team here to find the new office space, and that was a challenge in Krakow. It was a challenge in New York. There are many different expectations. People have different views on where the office should be, how it should look like. I think that we really nailed that one. I'm really.
It looks great, I think.
Yeah, and I wasn't involved at all, so it's just a big compliment to the team that was working here on this office.
I think it's awesome.
It's very it's a very good environment to work. Like I was telling you before, coming here, you feel very comfortable working. It's very it's also very efficient. Like we discussed earlier, also. Recruitment, especially in IT, is a big challenge. It's not only in Krakow, it's really anywhere. But I think what we're doing really great is that we are attracting people to Brainly because of our mission and the fact that you're working on an educational product that's from Krakow. You work in Poland and Krakow, but your work is really affecting students, parents, and teachers all around the world. We have users from 35 countries of the world. So I think that's this kind of unique opportunity that not many companies can really offer you. And for a lot of people, our mission and the fact, the way in which we have our global footprint is the thing that really makes them excited to work here.
Okay, so personally, what would you say something that you're really proud of when it comes to Brainly, personally?
Oh, personally,
You're like, oh, it's so awesome that this happened.
You know what, for me, okay, so that maybe not a huge scale, but I recently stumbled across a blog post from a parent that where a parent said that all the parents should check out Brainly and tell their kids about it, and I felt like that was so great because that parent was not like they never spoke to us before. They just I just noticed a blog. It's a small blog, so this is nothing huge, but it was great to see, and it was in the US, so it was great to see that something that we're creating here has such a big impact, and the reaction was so positive. And I think that's always the most rewarding thing. So whenever we have like face-to-face interactions with students or parents and teachers or any really users that we have that give us such a positive feedback, it's great, because then you see the impact of your work, right? And I think that's always the most rewarding thing. We some time ago we recorded testimonials from our users, just asking them, what do you think, how do you like Brainly, how do you use it? And that's the thing that I think for me personally is the best, because you really, on a daily basis, when you work in an online company, you see numbers, you work on a lot of data and content, but then suddenly you see the face of real people who are saying these nice things about you, which is very motivating. And,
yes, true. So it's like you're working for them and your work is being appreciated.
It's I think everybody likes the feeling when your work is appreciated, right? Like everybody needs that. So it's always
true.
Great.
Okay. What are your KPIs for next year, 2020?
So, like I was saying, we have these three areas in which we want to focus on growth. I mean, on improving. The first one is growing our global number of users. Like I said, right now we are at 150 million monthly users, but we know that there's over 1 billion, so it's like 1.2 billion students around the world. So obviously we want to get closer and closer and closer to this number. Our vision is to give every student in the world access to personalized learning. Of course, also their parents and other groups. And then focusing on monetization, improving it and working on it continuously. And finally, we treat the US market as a priority, because it's a huge market that's very important when you even think about our global growth. You can't really do that when you don't have a good presence in the US. At the same time, it's a challenging market. It's a difficult one. It requires this is why we opened our office there. We wanted to be close to our users there.
And how many people do you have in that office in New York?
I think it's somewhere between 10 and 20, maybe closer to 20.
And what are they working on? Like, is it product development or?
So it's mostly marketing, partnerships, and basically these two. I think there's our head of our chief people officer. She's also in New York. Our chief business officer is in New York, and then a lot of people working in marketing.
Okay. And you plan to expand the office as well, as Brainly grows as a brand in the US?
So we just moved into our new office in New York. So we still have a room to grow there. So obviously, as long as it's enough, we'll stay there. But eventually, of course, if we outgrow our office, we'll have to also get a new one.
Yeah. Would you be moving to US?
Myself?
Yeah. would you like to move to US?
So my role, because I work with both Polish market, US, India, Russia, and other markets, I just move around. So sometimes.
So you're already moving.
I'm already moving back.
Already
and forth.
on the move. Okay. I would like to end this interview by asking you how does Brainly give back to the startup community? Do you organize any events, any initiatives?
Yeah. So I think being a startup in Krakow gives this great opportunity that you can really be connected with the rest of the community, and this is something that we definitely do. We have a series of events that we host here in our office in Zapoche. They're called No More. And every event like this has a main topic with presenters who are sharing knowledge. It's an open event. We require registration simply because sometimes we cannot accommodate all of the people, but it's free to come, and we always do our best.
All right, Jakub, I think that will be it for the interview part.